What is going on, everybody? Welcome back here today. As it says in the title, who is the greatest athlete ever? Can it be a soccer player? Now, this whole question popped up because, as I always do, I go through Twitter, go through all social media platforms. I love to talk sports on there, talk whatever's going on. And I saw a post come up where it had Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. It could have been Red Grange, some like classic athletes. Great. And it said, who is the greatest athlete of all time? Not most decorative, right? We're not talking Bill Russell, 11 rings or whatever the case may be. It was who is greatest athlete. When I think of an athlete, I think of someone who would look like DK Metcalf or would look like Chris Evans as Captain America. Something insane like that. Not the most popular answer that I saw on there. And the whole reason this video is made today, this episode, is because every other answer on this post was Lionel Messi. And I went, you know what? I don't know much about soccer, right? I only watch World Cup. I've watched a little MLS here and there. I'll always give something else a try. I've tried every sport all the way up to the WNBA. But when I looked at it, I said, let's look into this. Could he possibly be the greatest athlete ever? So as I went, I still don't see it. But let's go through it. Lionel Messi, he starts at 5'7". That's not, once I hear 5'7", unless you're the Flash, I just cross you off the list as greatest athlete ever. Now, the problem is people are thinking the greatest at their sport. That's not what a great athlete is. He's 5'7". At this stage, he's 36 years old and still going strong. Now, his 40 time, right? That's a key thing for athletic. How fast are you? Is 4.7. There are defensive linemen that are quicker than that. Guys who are like 6'4", 250, 300, who are quicker than that. So I'm not going to take nothing away. I'm just saying speed, it's under 5 seconds. That's still fast. He's blowing me out of the water. I've done a 40 and my best was like six seconds. He's faster. So I'm not saying anything about that. Let's look at his career. And this is just a real blimp on the career of Lionel Messi. We got two other athletes I want to get to after him. At 13, he left, transferred or moved to a different country and played for Barcelona. At 13, that's incredible. So we know he's gifted and a great athlete and great at soccer. At 22 years old, he won Barcelona's first ever treble. That's where you win 3 trophies for whatever the leagues are for that country. He did that the first time that they'd ever done that. 3 in a single season. He won the first, I believe it's called, Ballon d'Or or Ballon d'Or? It's the judge it's a whole panel and they vote for the best player in international football, soccer, all over the world. So when you get that, that's not just a league MVP. That's not just a small, even though the NBA or the NFL are the best athletes of the world at that sport, it still does not transcend like soccer does. So Messi got the league MVP, not one, he got one, then he ended up winning 4 consecutive ones in a row. That's mind-blowing. So this right here is telling me this guy's probably on the way to being the greatest soccer player, if not already. He's got, we talked about the MVPs in 2020 and 2023. This is a really impressive. He was named sorry, I'm struggling without my glasses. I think it's the Laureus World Sportsman of the Year. Messi's the first team athlete. Usually anyone who's ever won this was always an individual, right? You could see like a Roger Federer, tennis, someone like that, Michael Phelps, swimming. But he was the first one ever to be on a team sport and win this award, and he did it twice. And in 2020, he's one of only 2 soccer players, soccer players, to eclipse $1 billion in career earnings. I mean, there's so much more I haven't even touched, right? I'm not going to be here for 10 hours talking about Messi. So that just shows, man, this guy is like beyond, to me, better than, when it comes to accomplished athletes, better than Michael Jordan, better than LeBron James, because those guys did not get all this at such a young age and then capture so much. Now, you got to take everything, there's just so much. The fact that he also won the World Cup, right? He finally did, he got the World Cup, he got the Golden Ball. He's played the most World Cups games ever, I believe it said, at 26. So when it comes to soccer, yeah, I'm not much of a soccer buff. I only know very minimal. I am not gonna debate you. You tell me just those 2 paragraphs I read, I'm gonna say, dang, dude, I've heard of Pele. I know the classic kick. I know who Cristiano Ronaldo is. I've always liked him because I thought he looked cool, looked like a dude I'd want to be out there on the field. But this guy, man, he's something else. And so, yes, I could see a few people saying it, but now let's go to athlete. Let's get to the next person I'm going to talk about who I would pick. And when I say athlete, I mean, let's line up 10 sports, 5 sports, pick 5 sports and take out the one there, take out soccer, take out football. 5 sports. I'm going to do one-on-one racing. I'm going to do swimming. I'm going to do maybe not bowling. I don't want to do things like that. That's skills, little niche skills, not darts, crap like that. But when it comes to actual sporting things, track and field, any of those, the next guy I talked to, the next 2 guys are going to cover both those, and that's Deion Sanders. So let's get through a few of Deion. He's 6'1", so he already dwarfs Messi. His 40 time, 4.2. So 4.27, but still under 4.3. That's almost 5 seconds more, or 0.5, right? It's still fast. It's fast and really fast. But so if you're out there in the soccer field, Deion is not the soccer player Messi is. Messi can juke him, Messi can Deion is not that. But Deion has speed, and when you have speed, that's universal, and you can put Deion on the soccer field, and he's going to be competitive. He's going to be able to play soccer. Not at Messi's level, but Messi's not going to be outrunning him as well. So you got Deion right there. So we already know his size and speed is better than Messi. Florida State College. He won the Jim Thorpe Award as the best defensive back. He won a bunch of other things. Like I said, I'm just hitting up a brief things. 5th overall pick in the NFL by the Atlanta Falcons. Played kick return, punt return, wide receiver, defensive back. I mean, the guy, he did, throughout his whole career, he's done almost everything you could think of. And we're just scratching the surface. Played and he won back-to-back Super Bowls from the 49ers and the Cowboys. So the Super Bowl is the World Cup for football. And he went to back-to-back and won 2 of them. So Deion's got that. He's been to multiple playoffs when he was with Atlanta. College and pro. So he went college and pro, Hall of Fame. He's the top level in both college and pro football Hall of Fame. I'm interested to see how many guys have actually done that. He played 3 sports while he was in college and high school. Played baseball, football, and track and field. And I guarantee you, I've seen Deion in a dunk contest. He can jam it. At 6'1", and he's dunking, right? That's like stuff reserved for guys who are like, 6'6", 6'8", higher. Deion could get in a dunk contest and jam. So that just tells me he could be out there playing basketball well. Problem is he probably didn't have the time with all the other stuff he was doing. Drafted in the 6th round by the Kansas City Royals, but he chose not to play right away, did not sign. Played for the World Series. I think he went to a couple with the Braves and was a huge impactful. Had they beat, I want to say Toronto that year, he would have probably been World Series MVP. He had a triple. He had all sorts of stuff. He's the only player in sports history. And before you say, well, other people around the world can come to the NFL. We bring NBA, we'll bring NFL. They don't play those sports in other countries. And if they do, they're not as good as these athletes. So these are the best in the world at it. But he's the only player ever to hit a home run and score a touchdown in the same week. That's crazy. That's an athlete, right? That's an athlete. I've never seen Messi hit a home run and score a goal in the same week. Drafted, played in the World Series. He's also the only player to ever catch a reception as a receiver and get an interception in the Super Bowl. That is something to shake a stick at. I mean, that's top notch right there. So we know everything Deion is. And I'm not even talking about the game changing, the jewelry, the high stepping. What he did for football was like equivalent to Michael Jordan, where it was like, I did it as a kid. He was my favorite player. I had Deion shoes, 2 different brands, or 2 different kinds he had. I would wear the headband, right, tucked back with the flap on each side. And that's why I love Beckham, that he reminds me kind of the flair. And that's what Deion brought to the game. He was too legit to quit. Remember, who has MC Hammer? Who has like a top hip-hop artist or rapper or whatever musician on the sidelines during their games other than Deion Sanders? He made Atlanta what it was. He built that stadium, and then we went to the 49ers. He high-stepped it and showed it in their face. I mean, just look at his highlights and everything he's done and how long he played and the impact. And now he's out coaching, right? College football coaching, and used to be one of the most sought-after analysts when it came to football off the field. So he's kind of like Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, he got cut short. But those are the athletes where they find success afterwards as well. And Deion's right there with them. So enough on Deion. Let's get to the next guy. And my last guy, Bo Jackson. If you are my age or even a little younger, you've heard of Bo. I should have got the bat. Everyone remembers he's got the bat between the shoulders and he's got the football pads and nothing else but pure muscle. Think of DK Metcalf, compacted a little shorter, right? And like a brick house, like the Thing from Fantastic Four. Bo Jackson was chiseled. He was another guy who transcended sports. With, like, when you heard Deion and Bo, I never compared them, even though they both did the same thing, because Deion was a little slimmer. Bo was more like, Bo would have been, like I said, if they were a superhero group, it'd be like the Hulk and Captain America. They're both good in different ways, but they don't physically look the same. Bo was different. And when you look at Bo, he's 6'1", but he was much heavier than Deion. So they're the same. And once again, size and weight dwarfs Messi. 40 time, 4.13, 4.1, almost 4 seconds. That's insane. And it's not just, because we've seen other guys like, Justin Ross, other guys who have made, Chris Johnson, who are fast burners, who have made it like 4 seconds, whatever it is. The problem with those guys are, they did not have the muscle mass that Bo Jackson had. And that's why I say he's a freak. Watch his highlights of Kansas City Royals, wall running, gunning Kevin Reynolds out. You can YouTube all this if you've never seen it. Gunning one, hopping it off the wall, bare hand catch, and just rifles it. And Kevin Reynolds, who was fast, got out, and he hit, the look on his face says it all. So, drafted 2nd round by the Yankees, but he decided to go to Auburn because he promised his mom he would get his degree. He went to college. Tip of the cap to Bo, showing family and education is more important because the sports will be there. Even though he does get injured later, the sports will be there. Rushed in his career over 4,300 yards. His yards per carry, 6.6. That is nuts, man. For the amount of work that he got to have a 6.6 yards per carry. Sugar Bowl MVP in 1983. They beat Michigan. Liberty Bowl MVP in 1984. So he's winning these bowl games and he's getting MVP. Heisman in 1995, the Heisman Trophy. We know the most coveted award in college, and it wasn't hollow. Heisman Trophy winner Bo Jackson. Baseball, this is what he did, like Deion. Baseball, football, and track and field. I mean, I can't stress enough. If you've never heard of him and you're a big supporter of Messi, I still, like I said, Messi for soccer, but go look up Bo's highlights and look at everything. Drafted fourth and played with the Royals. So he was drafted in the 4th round. Now, what happened was that he was drafted 1st overall by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but he did not go, and he said, I would not go, and I like how Bo held to it. He went to the Royals instead because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers brought him in for a visit, and they told him, hey, the NCAA said it's okay. You can come in. You won't be considered. It won't hurt your eligibility. He said, okay, sure. He comes. He visits them. And then he couldn't play baseball his senior year at Auburn. They said you violated the eligibility rule and you cannot play. Therefore, you have to forfeit your senior year baseball. Bo was flaming at the Tampa Bay Bucks, and he never played for them. And they drafted him 1st overall and wasted their pick. And that is a lesson well learned, hopefully, by them. And so Bo said no. And so what happens is he did the Royals. When he played baseball, he made the All-Stars and hit a home run in his first ever at-bat in an All-Star game. And I know that because it was right here at the Big A. I wasn't at the game, but I wish I would. If it was here now, I would have gone. I was a lot younger then, but I did watch the game on TV. But Bo hit the home run there. All-Star MVP and his first ever All-Star appearance. So baseball, I think, with Bo, if you know about him, he could have done even more had he just committed to one. I wish he would have probably, honestly, committed to just baseball. Baseball, you wouldn't have seen that hip injury. He wouldn't have had the tackles. I think he would have been a Hall of Fame baseball player, and he would have only progressed because he was so raw and so gifted. Can you imagine, with great coaching, how far he really could have went in the MLB? I've always told my kids that whatever, if you play pro, I would always want baseball. The minimum players, you know, make enough to where you can buy a home and live comfortably. The minimum salary is so high for baseball. While football at the time, it wasn't as much, and there's one play like it did for Bo, and it's over. I mean, I know it's like that in all sports, but the likelihood in football is more than any other sport other than probably hockey. So this is what he had in his baseball career. He did get injured from the Raiders. 2020, he had a 20 home run, 20 stolen base season, a 30 home run season, 100 RBI season. So top-notch baseball player. I saw Bo play when he did come to the Angels afterwards, his final year in '94. Loved it, watching him out there. I always, every game when I went to about 20 games that year, I would chant, Bo! Loved watching Bo Jackson. He was drafted in the 7th round, in my opinion, and I know Brady was the 6th round. Yes, Brady's probably the greatest late-round player ever. I'm saying Bo Jackson has to be the greatest athlete, the greatest value for what you were getting in the 7th round, knowing he was the first. Brady wasn't first overall pick. Bo was first overall pick And then the Raiders took him late because he said, you know, he probably isn't going to play. So why are you going to draft him in your 4th round? 7th round, smart move. Then Al Davis loved Bo. We know Al Davis loves speed, and he got him in there. And Jackson, he was given the highest salary for any non-quarterback. Man, say what you want. I need to do a video on Al Davis one year. That guy, he is transcendent. He did everything for so many different minority communities at the time, and the first to break color barriers or interracial barriers on so many different things. Al Davis is such a man. As much as he's hated, he was one of the greatest things for the sport to ever happen. Look it up, man. Al Davis, he's the man. But he gets Jackson, paid him for the most ever non-quarterback, most ever for salary. In 38 games, Bo played 2,782 yards. You go, but remember, he had Marcus Allen on the team as well, so he's splitting carries. 5.4 yards per carry. That's great. And he had big touchdowns with the long runs and the running over the linebacker. I can't remember his name right now. It's not Butkus, but the other guy with the blonde mohawk. Runs him over the end zone. 16 touchdowns. So per game, in 30 games, he averaged 73 yards per game. So that's it. When you look at these athletes that I'm talking about, if you are lining up right now and you're going to say, hey, I got to do 10 events, tug of war, obstacle courses, swimming, I got to do, and then maybe some basketball, and then maybe a little one-on-one this, or whatever the case is. An athlete can compete in the most of those things at a high level. If I lined up Messi, maybe even like a Michael Jordan, a Bo Jackson, and a Deion Sanders, if you can honestly tell me you're picking Messi over any of those for these 10 events or any kind of thing where you have to do the gauntlet or all five major sports, and you got to play one-on-one with all these, if you take Messi, then you are just an you are just a delusional guy who loves Messi. There is no way Deion Sanders or Bo Jackson is not #1 as the greatest athlete in all-time sports history. There could be more I'm leaving out there, but I'm not talking about decorative in sports. Soccer, yes, Messi is. Deion and Bo were not the greatest football players of all time. They could have been, right? Bo got cut early. Deion could be, right? Deion took the whole side of the field away. We all want to get it to the quarterback because of the value and the importance of the position. Soccer, it's different. But that's it. That is my opinion. That is my take on it. Let me know. And please, if you enjoy anything on here, I should have said it at the beginning. Next time I will. Give a like and please subscribe. Let's get this channel growing. I'm trying to get more sports stuff out there. But it's grown about as fast as Joe Biden at the beach with Hillary Clinton in a two-piece. It's not growing very fast. So please, anything you can, help me subscribe and look for the next video. Football's up, and we'll do more talk on football, maybe even some more fantasy. Talk to you guys later. Peace.